there, Ben. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good time at your dance. This is your video lesson for today. Thanks for sending that video over. It's super helpful for me to see kind of like what was going on, rather than just kind of shoot from the hip or you just describing it. So it's very helpful. So thanks. So 3 things I want to talk about. We'll go down the list. If you have questions at the end, feel free to shoot me a message back, and I will respond with a reply. So first thing is the first thing is your positioning. So you're kind of hunching over a little bit like this right here. You want to sit back a little bit. You don't want to be like hunkered over top of this thing. And then also too, the other thing you want to watch out for is that your arm was kind of over the top like this. So your whole forearm, or sorry, your upper arm was over top of the guitar like this, like strumming this way. You want to bring that arm back. You want your good contact point where you're kind of right where your elbow. You can see my elbow. There we go. Elbow right back here is on the what's called the purfling. It's that edging or binding on your guitar. That's the fancy word for it. And you want your arm to rest right there and be able to swing freely like this. So you don't want to be over top strumming like this right here. You want to bring that arm back just like that. Very cool. So that's for your positioning. And then the second thing is transitions are looking good. There's one that's the trickiest of them all, though, for what we're doing right now, is the C to G and G to C switch. That's, I think, the hardest one for someone in your ability level. That's the trickiest one, because what you want to watch out for is if I play a C chord like this, then I switch to G. What a lot of times people will do, especially in the beginning, is they'll bring all the fingers up here and then kind of like get them all to where they're supposed to go. But what you want to do is you want to practice that transition slowly back and forth. I'm talking like really slow. And what you want to focus on is that when you go to the G chord, you don't want everything to kind of bunch up here and then go to where it's supposed to go. You want them all to go directly to where they're ultimately going to be. For you, I think your pinky and your ring finger shot up here and then came back down. So what you want to do is very slowly have them go directly to where they're supposed to go. So there's no like, it's kind of like if we were going out to the mountains, we're not going to drive to Kansas first, that's the wrong direction, right? You want to go every finger directly to the next note it's going to be at. So I strum that C chord, and then every finger, see right here, we'll zoom in a little closer, here, and you want every finger to go right to where it wants to go to ultimately. So back to the C chord, see how everything is going. I'm actually in the chord before I even get there, right? So when I switch chords, I'm not like getting here, put everything down at the same time. You want to actually have the chord in midair. So a good way to get better at this is this finger separation and dexterity is on and off. So you strum the G chord and you lift the chord up, right? And you try to hold that shape in midair. And then you try to drop it all down at the same time. That way your fingers get used to like, what is a G chord? Because like I said before, when we're transitioning from one chord to another, we're not landing the chord and then getting in position. We're like in the chord before we even land. So it's like in midair, it forms up and then it all lands all at the same time. And then it lifts up and then see, same thing here. I can hold the chord shape in midair. I am like up and having the hovering right now. And then I land the chord afterwards. So I want you to practice that. On, off, holding the chord in midair, and then landing it. We'll do some more of that next lesson too, next Friday. And the chord in midair. And everybody, real slow, goes to where they're supposed to be the first time. It's gonna be tricky at first because they're gonna have a mind of their own, but you have to train them. Think of them as employees or students, and you have to teach each one what you want it to do. So it's not a matter of just like, if you just switch back and forth enough, like eventually you'll get it. Yeah, like, you know, over time, yeah, but that'd be a long way of doing it. The quicker way of doing it is slowing down and transitioning from one chord to the next and having it go in the chord shape in midair and then landing the chord, right? So like I said before, the G chord, you want to keep that ring finger. Oh, that's right, you're doing the ring finger, that's right. So you're doing it that way. So I'll teach you that way in a couple weeks. And that ring finger goes directly to that first string. So see, I'm not taking like a side trip up here and then bringing it down. It's here, and that ring finger drops just like that. Cool, man. Work on that for me. And then third thing I want you to do is let's get some more chords under your belt, so we can kind of go around and just check the boxes, make sure we have all of our chord shapes down. Next tune I want you to work on is a classic, Wild Thing by the Troggs. I'm sure you've heard it a million times, whether or not you know the name of the song. I'm sure you've heard this song before. Part of this thing is, do like the current hits and everything, but then also we gotta make sure we have a little sprinkle of the classics in there. That way, if your uncle wants to hear a song, he might not know Pompeii by Bastille, but he is surely gonna know Wild Thing, right? So, all right, cool. So the first chord in there is an A chord, and it looks like this right here. It's all in a row. The last chord we did was an A minor, but this one's different, it's A. So think of so this is on 4th string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then 2nd string, 4th string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and 2nd string, 2nd fret. And you'll strum that twice, right? And then you go to a D chord, which you already know, so I didn't bother writing that down because I already know that you know it. So it's A, and then D, D, and then a brand new chord, E, new to us at least. You can think of an E chord as the A minor chord, just moved up one string. So like everything is down here on an A minor chord, right? So 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. And you're just gonna take everything and bump it up just one string. So this is now in 3rd, 4th, and then 5th right there. And you're gonna hit that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're gonna go to a D chord. Right, and like I said, you already know D, so I'm not gonna bother doing that. And so we have it all together. A, D, D, switch that E, E, back to D, D. One more time in a gentleman's pace. A, D, D, E, D, D, making sure that my arm is not hunkered over top of here. I'm not like hunching over the guitar, anything like that. So cool, man. Work on that stuff for me. Like I said, if you have any questions about any of that, feel free to shoot a message over. Oh, I also saw that your mom said in her last email that there's a backlog of guitars being worked on over at Colfax. That's always a sign of a good shop was when they have a wait list, or it's tricky. It's harder to kind of get in to see them. Which means that they're good and that people go there regularly. So that's actually a good sign. So we want to use them. Yeah, I mean, for what we're going to do right now, we're going to keep things down here in this region. So it actually might be worth to get on their list to get your guitar repaired by them, because we're going to be down here in this area for a while. I'll message that. I'll put that email to your mom too. All right, I will see you next Friday. Take care.